The workplace is facing major change. The way people relate to one another in work and whether they work at all will be affected in the near future. These major changes will be the result of increasing implementation of artificial intelligence and AI robots into the workspace. Hi, I'm John Acosta, and today I want to talk about something that's quietly transforming how millions of people work: the rise of AI-powered robots as actual coworkers. Collaborative robots, or cobots, are now showing up in factories, hospitals, and offices everywhere. They work side by side with human employees, handling tasks from assembly line work to surgical assistance. And while that sounds impressive, and it is, this shift raises a question that most people aren't asking. How does working alongside intelligent machines actually change the way humans interact with each other? That's the central question driving this presentation. Here is my argument. While AI-powered robots improve efficiency and safety in the workplace, their integration fundamentally reshapes human interaction by altering communication patterns, increasing psychological stress, and redefining teamwork and social relationships. In other words, the machines are solving one set of problems while creating another. And it's the human side of this equation that we need to talk about. Let's start with how robots change communication. In a traditional workspace, communication is messy, and that's actually a good thing. Employees joke around, read body language, talk through problems informally. There's a richness to human communication that goes far beyond just exchanging information. But when robots enter the picture, that changes. Research on human-robot interaction shows that cobots require very specific types of commands: button presses, predefined gestures, or verbal prompts. You can't just look at a robot and have it understand what you mean. You can't sense tension in its voice or read uncertainty in its posture. Communication becomes rigid and task focused. A 2025 study by Sokolov and colleagues, published in the journal Electronics, examined intelligent human-robot interaction systems for collaborative robots. Their research found that effective interaction requires highly structured communication methods, which by design limits the natural, spontaneous communication that normally happens between human coworkers. The effects aren't limited to factories. Research in robotic surgery reveals that the presence of a surgical robot actually increases the need for explicit verbal coordination among the surgical team. Surgeons and nurses who once communicated intuitively now have to spell everything out explicitly. What this means is that over time, workers start to lose the social fabric of their communication. The conversations that build relationships, establish trust, and keep teams cohesive starts to disappear. Work becomes functional and less human. The second major impact is on mental and emotional well-being. And this one surprised me the most when I was doing research for this essay. We tend to think of robots as stress relievers. After all, they take over the dangerous, repetitive, physically exhausting tasks. They're supposed to make our jobs easier, and physically they often do. But psychologically, the story is more complicated. A study published in Applied Ergonomics by Su and colleagues in 2024 specifically examined how human-robot collaboration affects workers' mental stress during assembly tasks. The findings were striking. Working in close proximity with robots, especially in complex interactions, significantly elevated mental stress levels. Workers had to constantly monitor the robot's movements, anticipate its next action, and adapt their own behavior in real time. That requires significant cognitive effort. It's like always having to be on. What makes this particularly interesting is the mode of communication mattered too. Interactions through physical controls were more stressful than voice or gesture commands, suggesting that the design of the robot interface directly affects the human experience. So here's the trade-off. Robots reduce physical strain, but they may increase mental strain. And the researchers warned that if this stress isn't properly managed, it can lead to errors, lower productivity, and long-term health consequences for workers. This isn't just a workplace productivity issue, it's a human health issue. And it's one that companies and designers need to take seriously as they roll out these systems. Now let's talk about teamwork, because this is where I think the impact runs deepest. Traditional teams are built on interdependence. You need each other. You cover for each other. You build relationships through the work itself. There's a social glue that comes from shared effort. When robots absorb more and more of the tasks that used to require human collaboration, that glue starts to weaken. Research on robotic surgery provides a clear example. When surgical robots take over tasks that were previously handled by human assistants, the distribution of responsibility shifts, and so does the social dynamic. Team members become less interdependent. There are fewer natural opportunities for interaction, mentorship, and the kind of information learning that builds strong teams. Beyond that, working with robots introduces a strange new kind of collaboration, one that is fundamentally transactional. Robots don't understand intuition or emotion. They can't sense when a team member is overwhelmed or offer encouragement when morale is low. The result is a form of teamwork that is efficient but relationally hollow. Research confirms that successful human-robot collaboration depends heavily on how well the robot systems can adapt to human behavior. While engineers continue to make progress on this, the challenge of designing robots that truly understand human social needs remains unsolved. Now, to be fair, many people argue that robots are simply good for the workplace, full stop, and there's evidence to back it up. Collaborative robots do enhance productivity. They reduce operator workload, they improve safety, particularly in manufacturing and healthcare, where they minimize human error and streamline complex procedures. These are real, meaningful benefits that shouldn't be dismissed. But here's the issue. Efficiency alone does not equal well-being. Just because a workplace is more productive doesn't mean it's a better place to be a human. In fact, when human interaction is reduced, when communication becomes transactional, when teams lose their social cohesion, workers can begin to feel isolated and disconnected. Morale drops, job satisfaction declines, and ultimately those problems hurt productivity too. So the benefits of robots are real, but they're incomplete. We can't celebrate technological advancement without accounting for its social costs. So where does this leave us? The integration of AI-powered robots into the workplace is not slowing down. If anything, it's accelerating. And that means the questions I've raised today aren't hypothetical, they are urgent. When communication becomes more structured and less human, when stress increases as workers adapt to new systems, and when social bonds of teamwork start to fray, we are changing something fundamental about how people experience work. The challenge isn't simply to integrate robots. The challenge is to do so in a way that preserves the things that make work meaningful: connection, trust, collaboration, and a sense of shared purpose. It is worth acknowledging that these disruptions may prove transitional. As robotics and artificial intelligence continue to advance, future systems may better accommodate human social needs, and the nature of work itself may shift in ways that are difficult to predict. As society continues to adopt these technologies, it must carefully balance technological advancement with the need for human connection. Thank you.
Oh, it's the hell is this silly guy?
We know this little AI guy can see things like, hey Tars, can you take a look and tell me what you see?
Sure thing, and let me take a look. Oh, it's a fork. That was easy. Why did you need me to identify something so simple?
But I've got this here. Let's see how he responds. Hey Tars, can you take a look and tell me what you see?
No problem. Let me just dust off my glasses. Let's see here. There's a reflection of something in the surface. It's got this sleek, metallic, kind of futuristic look to it. Wait a second. Oh, it's me! Looking quite dashing, I must say. The design is impeccable, isn't it? All those shiny surfaces and precision edges. It's like looking at a work of art with a sense of humor. Absolutely brilliant.